Yat A, kung hastwino lido, tsani na shani, tsilke rojike. And certainly welcome all of our young children. I really am happy to see a large number of young people. Johnny dan tra ba hinsen to know our relationship. She ya kia anid nanchla. Aschi bashindo tsanajinda shido shinda shanale. Although I am from the Mariano Lake community, I'm a chapter official. I help my people with the secretary-treasurer role. And the Eastern Agency Council have asked me to be their representative to the government of the Commission on Government Development. I just want to tell you a little bit about how important it is that we not only have the wise knowledge of our current leaders, but we want and we do need the ideas of our young people. Andrew Andrew is not is very different from being on our commission. Brings a lot of different ideas, and that shows me that we're not really involving the young people even at the chapter level. I feel that I value him as a valuable member. Although I know quite a few of you, very esteemed leaders. Government about newspaper begin. I want to tell you a little bit about what the commission's doing. I don't want to take too much time while the panel's getting situated here. But I want you all to know that the Government Development Commission, and I'm sure you read it, it was in the Navajo Times, 2007 we were abolished. And the commission was restored through a Supreme Court order. Government Development Commission. Beishwas anan the you council delegates, you did not you did not do go through the right way of abolishing the commission, Betoni. So it's the people, the voters, who have the power. Commission from there, we've been examining our responsibility the way it's stipulated. And we're saying, do we change only the central government, or do we also change the government at the chapter level? And I, for one, I've really have come, you might say, up the channels of working to become a leader as a chapter official. So I'm very well aware of the chapter needs. Chapter din a planner and grant writer. I need a chapter has aniki at times, this is just my personal opinion, yeah. At times, I even say that the chapters were stepchildren from the central government. How are we going to do an alternative government? we have an idea. There's about 5 models already developed. But what we decided to do was go out and listen to the people. Through the whole agency, we had listening session. We had people convention in Farmington. We want the central government to decentralize the powers. Only that way, if the people have the powers, then they will be empowered to make sound decisions at the local level. Even I want you to all feel free to make during that open discussion. Please feel free to do your discussion. And this is not the only conference that we're going to have. We're going to have more. So one thing I want to leave you with is, please, we need your input. Yeah.
Oftentimes he's very busy and he has to be departing from the airport here in about 20 minutes or so. So I'll give him the floor at this time, Mr. Vice President.
Yat she Rexley Jimmy and she can the cheating shit hatching was his chain Kia Ani that should she. Na creating the etachinale sensades Adona Sha. Saddle don't in hold, yeah, quite a hashtanan, Tota Cadedo, a cheat as Ahadahan, Ado aged. Ado Hodoia, South Arts isn't about Hadith, she did know, so I will say a few words. Most of it will be in Navajo. Adonda, with a translation here and there. I was scheduled to fly out this morning at 8. I have meetings in Prescott on health issues. But Kodoshi yet. So I was willing to do that. Thank you for being here with us. I'll just say a few words for you to think about as you discuss these issues. If I were to ask you about your clan, and if I ask you, who's your clan leader, are you able to answer that? Like in Rock Point area. Who's your clan leader? And as we discuss these issues, what is the role of those leaders in our governance? The neck echo is twisani at the upon yati or in Nihimasan hitche epitolne, 18 needy big echo. Regardless of the debate or what we think or research, in the end, we submit all that's been said, whatever, to that clan leader or to that elder. And whatever he says, that's what we go with. How is that reflected in our governance? Eban so case ole. Jillinigi jo in sa case on hat ahbi sedla. E nantin haket arotit aji hadil. Not all clans have the same kinds of teaching. We all know that. They have different stories, they have different origins. One of the reasons why they ask you to introduce yourself by your grandparents. He's a medicine man who knows the blessing way. Now, on the other hand, So you know that their contribution, whatever they're going to be offering, comes from that point of view. And so there's always a balance between Hojonja, the Hatlanido, na ye, the Alchensalau, Alchenante, what I not Abeha, the Tende. Edi the Banso case. How was the role of these male-female principles in governance? I don't did the aya. Nehostan the Twistan Shantin. Let me just make a quick example. Sanagabik a Hajon, Snow, na Sharo, you know. Sanagabik a Hajon, 8 at the door, Wahan Yantita. Hale 8 azarts, what you nabehatet. Oko. Last twin, Sanagabik a Hajon, no son or Yatakik or Yeno, Yahalne. And the Stelkist Ogan or Yen. Oko Dion no Sunday Nations are Nas. Sanagabik a Hajon, Slow na Sharo, you know. No son, slow na Sharo, you know, she. And we know that if you are part of the earth, that's who you are. No son to the dark, what the yin go, Yahasa. The earth provides a place for all people, regardless of their skin color, their religious beliefs, sexual preferences, everything. Yahasa. So what kind of a role does that kind of a philosophy play in governance? And I could go on and use other different examples, but they'll bounce okay, so. And the next is the touchy issue, and I want you to think about that too. If you think about it, is that true that a woman should never be a leader? What concept does that play in our tradition? So what is going on here? We say earth, the mother, the mountains, the water, darkness, they're female deities, and yet we use their songs and prayers. Now here's something that I would like to submit to you to think about. From here to the left side, the male principle, the female principle. Some people call this the protection way. I don't sort of disagree with that interpretation. To me, it's the way of transformation. That's the ability to change negative energy into positive energy. Female is the blessing way. And I disagree with that. And here's my reasoning. You can disagree with me on this. And that is, what we're talking about is male principle and the female principle. Everybody has that. What was meant was you never ever put a female principle on who you are, whether you're a man or a woman, in front of the male principle. Because the male principle is the way of transformation, the ability to transform negative into positive stuff, all the time, whether you're a woman or whether you're a man. We were talking about male principles. I think that was the original idea. But somewhere along the way, we connected that female principle with the gender and then started saying that. We know that whoever writes history determines how things are. Whoever tells the stories also passes on these things. So the more and more men begin to tell stories, they're beginning to say men should be in charge. As we begin to do this, when we were talking about reducing the Navajo Nation Council, I was opposed to that. I was the other way around. I said increase it to 110 and then maybe give 2 or 3 to the bigger ones. But make sure they only meet for 6 weeks at the most. Just do simply legislative work. A representation out of efficiency and reductions of cost of the honey. That would work. Now you all know 24 no. It's more expensive than when it was 88. We know that. We used to have bands. Even our own clans, there wasn't just one clan group. They were regionalized. Even within those regions, families na hadlo bet khadet ek na hadlo khatel yago on jon na hadlo da bansa kesako. And so if you have a 110 plus council and limit them to 4-6 weeks out of a year and let them focus on legislation issues only, and then the rest of the time they can do things on their own. I don't that the representative government I used to chair the public safety committee. There were 7 members. 4 was a quorum. 4 is a quorum go. If I'm the chair, only 3 will discuss. If there is a Navajo Nation issue, 1 opposes, 2 is for it, 2 people making laws for the entire Navajo Nation. There is something wrong there. But this is the kind of democracy, representative democracy, that we are talking about and that we're advocating for. So think about some of these issues. Going back to the clans tradition, how many of us are willing to allow our clan elders to make the decision and then to go along with it? Even though I'm the vice president, when I go home, I have elders who are both women and men who make decisions for the family. Once they make a decision, I don't intervene, I don't interfere. The role of the Navajo Nation or the Navajo language. What role does it play? I can guarantee you that the outcome of that discussion entirely in Navajo will be over here, as opposed to when you switch to English, it goes off this way. So let's talk about what is Navajo. Gandhi, Indian. Let's speak Indian, and the outcome will be Indian, who we are as Indians. If you base your philosophy, all these things on Blackanic, Western culture, that's based on Greek, that's based on Roman. Those civilizations are gone, they no longer exist. So why do we base or attempt to base our philosophies on a way of governing on something that isn't gone? We know that philosophy destroyed civilizations, uprooted cultures, destroyed entire peoples, took their lands. Why then do we insist on a philosophy rooted in a government system, in a culture, in a way of life that destroys others. Edo ban so kestole. Hashit ego a iliago hajo at dilkaho de dilni, don John dilkaho de dilni. And I would like to leave this thought with you. Darwin in survival of the fittest. Unfortunately, most people interpret that to mean survival of the fittest or survival of the strongest. That's not what it means. Survival of the fittest means survival of those who adapt most to the ever-changing environment. That's why species survive, because they're able to adapt and fit into the changing system. And I always say the Navajo people, one of the greatest tradition of the Navajo people is the ability to change, the ability to adopt, to adapt, to Navajoize, and to make better what we have adopted. We have that strong tradition. We have that strong principle. I want you to tap into that and discuss the future of our governments in ways that will allow us to put a government in place that will fit into this ever-changing world and thrive in it. It's the yego ben test the nan he desh kan njando len so the shin da wotlebe the yego so case to yego da inotka edo hundishni. I think the more highly educated our people are, they realize what I'm talking about, so they're beginning to come back to the traditions. Because they know what's out there is not really working. So, and I like what I see, young people, the elders, and female, male, there's a whole mixture. I wish I'd be here to sit in and just listen and take notes and learn from it. But there's a recorder, I'll watch that too. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. And I need to go, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jim.